So this video will be about troubleshooting the NSX controller cluster status and roles and connectivity. So right now, if we go to my NSX environment and if I go to the installation and management, you can see that, well, I only have one controller available here. In order to, well, troubleshoot the controller cluster, we need to have a cluster, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deploy two more. I hope that I have enough memory free on my, well, Edge NSX servers. So let's just go ahead and pick this one here. The controllers are all connected to VLAN 11, which I have both of them. This is cluster A, this is cluster B, and I need to have the management in Edge VLAN 11. Yes, there you go. And the IP pool that I'm going to select is the one for the controller. Is it okay? If I'm correct, I have exactly 3 IP addresses that I can assign. So let's hit OK. So the second controller is deployed. Let me see where that's done. Oh, well. Let's just open another window. And so let's just verify where the controller is basically placed. So we can see here one controller and the other one. So when you click on it, and we probably go to summary, we can see this one is deployed on the 7.8. This one is also deployed on the 7.8. So the next controller that I want to deploy will be on the 7.7, on the other ESXi host. So there are two controllers running on this ESXi host, and the other one, the third one that we're going to deploy, is going to be on the 7.7. Okay. So let's go back and plus. Seven. Management in Edge. VLAN 11. And let's select the only IP controller pool that I have. Hit OK. So the third controller is also deployed. Right now we can well, log in to the controller. One thing that is worth mentioning is that when the deployment of the controller fails and, well, kind of disappears while it's deploying, it means that there's probably a connectivity issue between the controller, the current controller, or the one that's being made, and the NSX manager. So we need to make sure that, well, the network is correct. Right now we've seen that mine are in a specific port group, which is in VLAN 11, and my manager is also in VLAN 11. So this IP address 10.11.11.80 can talk to the 130, 131, and 132. What can also be is that there are not enough resources on your ESXi machine in terms of CPU or disk space. There are probably, well, it could be that there are not enough IP addresses in the IP pool that can be well, assigned. So my IP pool at the moment is exactly 3 IP addresses big, and as you can see here, there are 3 IP addresses used from the 3 that are available. So those are all assigned to my controller. We just saw that here. Could also be that you have a wrong subnet mask in the pool. And another thing is that the firewall is blocking the ports between your manager and your controllers. That could be the case as well if you're deploying your controllers on a completely different host and a subnet. So we need to look into that as well, or well, if we have a firewall in between. Let's log into one of the controllers, and as you can see here, I don't have a controller handy. So what I will do is I will create a new session, and lab NSX, no, lab, we already know that's NSX Controller 01. Okay, let's do done. Let me see if I can log into it. Yes, I can. And there you go, my controller. I can also log into the other controllers though. Let me just duplicate the copy, paste, and paste it again. So this one is going to be controller 02. Okay, and this one is going to be controller 03 and 32. There you go. Okay, so controller 1 is already up and running. Controller 2 is joining here, and controller 3 is also. So I'm able to log in with SSH to my controllers here. Let's do a few commands, okay? So show control cluster status. Show control cluster status. And here you can see what the status is. So this one says join is complete, connected to cluster majority, and it's, well, this controller can be safely restarted, and we see the cluster ID and the node. We'll see different things here. So let's issue the same command on the second controller. This one is also connected to the cluster majority. You can see the cluster ID. This one ends with A01, and this one should also end with A01. Yeah. So you can see here that this one is active. This one is active as well. And let's go to another one. The third one. The same command. Also the same cluster ID with ending with 01. This cluster can also be restarted, and it's also connected to the cluster majority. So let's go back to the first one, and for example, let's do the cluster connections. Show control cluster connections. Here you can see the different connections that this controller currently has or is listening to. We can do the same command, of course. Here as well, we can see the open connections. Well, this is a very interesting part as well. This one has more open connections than this one, for example. And let's go to the other one. And yeah, there you have the same. Another command, let me go back to the first one, is show control cluster and then startup nodes. We can see here that these control clusters or controllers are actually starting up. So these are the nodes available, 130, 31, and 32. So that means that, well, at least this controller knows about the rest as well. Let's do the same command here as well. We should see 3 IP addresses, which we see here, and the other one, the third one. I see this one as well. So if we want to dig into the history, we can also do a show control cluster history, and we can exactly see what happened before with the controllers. And you can see, it's taking a while at the moment. The machine is very busy. Let me do that as well on this one here. We need to wait anyway. and third one as well. Well, here you can see what happened in the past. So node started for the first time, and you see the date, right? And then this one happened on the 13th of October. Well, this one happened on this thing here happened on the 5th of November, and then eventually today it interrupted and it got connected to a cluster majority, and today is, well, 29th of November. So here you will, I forgot to hit enter here. You will here in the first controller a lot happened, right? Because that was the first one and that was the first version available. Well, this one is added today, so you will only see messages from today and see what happened here. This is the whole process of connecting it to the cluster. Well, same happened here as well. So these messages here are almost identical. So what we also can do is, for example, do a show status, just to see the well, the version, the uptime, just for a very quick check, troubleshooting check. Show status here as well. Those commands can be done very easily. We can also request, this is also a fun command, request system compatibility report. And what this command will do is it will test a few things, right? It will test the number of CPUs. It will basically check if your system here is compatible for to make it work. Here you can see the number of CPUs done. It's okay. This all is done. And then eventually here you can see the number of CPUs detected, supported. Actually, no. Why not? Because you need more. You need more CPU. You need more memory. You need more. Well, the NIC speed is okay, so that's fine. NTP is not configured on this controller. Those are all things that need to be done, right? As you can see, nothing's actually supported at the moment, but this is a lab environment, so I mean, we can run this check. We need to run this check, and basically everything should pop up with yes over here. Okay. We also can do a very handy command here is the show network connections, and of a specific type. The command is of type TCP, and there it will show the exact commands. Well, if you need to troubleshoot stuff, if you want to verify if the controller is communicating correctly with the vSphere environment, with your controllers, or with your manager or the other controllers, etc., you can just view the connections here. Okay, you can see a lot of ports here, and this is a very detailed output. Yeah. If there's no problem, you don't need it. Okay. So, yeah, other commands that you can try. For example, you can show the network interface. You can see the IP address that it's up, so it means that your network is working correctly. You can also check out the default gateway, which is in my case the 253. You can also check out network DNS servers if something may be wrong over there. Right now I don't have any DNS servers configured here, so because it's not needed. Well, network NTP servers, you already saw that I don't have any, so I don't have any. And of course you can do the other commands like traceroute. You can do ping. And what you also can do, it's a very interesting command, by the way. You can watch the network interface, and we just saw what the network interface was. It was this one here. And then you can watch the traffic. So it's like doing a TCP dump on the fly. This is for very in-depth troubleshooting. Let's close that. And you can see here that it's captured a few packets and received by filter, and some of the packets are dropped by the kernel as well. But you can do very detailed troubleshooting here. For now, it's not needed because we don't have a problem.